everyone, welcome back. I've been weaving together galactic history and how we got here to the Earth template and the lessons we're here to learn. And today we're going to be talking about the Pleiades and Pleiadians. If you're just joining, I'm Liana. I'm a quantum hypnosis practitioner, channeler, and intuitive guide. If you haven't watched any of my other videos, I suggest that you check those out. We've talked about Orion and the Earth connection, as well as Lyra and the wars created by Draco Reptilians that came from outside of this universe. So we know that Lyra had a war with the Draco Reptilians that came from outside of our universe and started to separate our unity consciousness, and that this war spread from different star systems as the Lyrans fled and the Draco Reptilians followed with other beings who joined them. And so you may be familiar with Pleiadians. They're very well known here on Earth as guides, as helpers and protectors. And I'm not going to go into much about galactic history that's already been gathered. If that's something you're interested in, you can find that. So you may know Pleiadians as very strong, smart, and savvy warriors. But they were not always that way, but evolved into this over time. What I saw was that they once were a much softer race and softer star system. And all star systems have many races and planetary environments. But what I saw was that the Draco Reptilians first came to a water planet in the Pleiades, inhabited by what you may consider similar to a mermaid today, a beautiful bioluminescent planet, where the Pleiades had the most loving and gentle beings. The beings on this planet were very innocent and had pure hearts, also had a very feminine energy, is what I felt, although they had both within them. And I saw this planet being surrounded by multiple ships. It was eventually attacked and destroyed. Then I went into a conversation with the Pleiades star system itself. The Pleiades said from this point they learned to defend themselves, that they had only known how to defend against environmental issues and small incidences. The Pleiades told me they received assistance from beings outside of our universe who taught them how to defend themselves and taught them the strategies they would need to fight a war. I was shown that these beings were interuniversal beings and angelic beings that came from different universes, beings who were familiar with the service to self universe and template that the Draco Reptilians came from, but also beings that came from a universe that were all service to self as well, in order to help balance the energies that were here, to help maintain how this universe was set up to function, as well as to teach the Pleiadians how to defend themselves and think like enemies that came from a service to self universe. And that may not make sense to some people, why beings from a universe that are all service to self would help. But even within a service to self alignment, there's many ways of expressing that alignment. And there are many ways many levels of understanding within one alignment. So these were beings that understood what was needed in order to hold a balance, and that all universes are a part of one body. And I want to point out that some perceive the Pleiadians as evolving from Lyran refugees. And while there were Lyran refugees who did settle on the Pleiades, Pleiades had its own races of beings already there. And these were the ones that learned to defend and fight, and over time evolved into how we perceive them today as strong, savvy warriors who were very good at galactic war tactics, and as beings who have learned and collaborated and taught other star systems. I asked the Pleiades what happened with the war there. They said it was very long and that they're still fighting it today, but mostly outside of their star system. They showed me that they were able to push out the war outside of their star system with assistance from other beings, and created a light field around their star system that doesn't keep out other beings or ships, but acts as a deterrent to those that are more aligned with dark, with service to self, because the light's so strong that it averts them, but also that it, in a way, disables how their ships function and provides time for other defensive ships to intercede. And I believe the lesson here is that this galaxy, this universe, has been aided by forces outside of it in order to hold the balance between the polarities and how this universe was set up to function. And to amend an error, this tear or rift in time-space that allowed the cells of another body, the beings of another universe, to invade and express themselves through form, through different ways that we experience existence in this galaxy. As well as, I think it's easy for us to assume that our guides or intergalactic beings that we interact with within ourself, meditation, telepathically, or through different sources, have always been the way that they have been. But I think it's also important to see that they evolved from other states of being and are where they are at now because of this virus, as the mother of all creation put it. Something that wasn't intended, which is why so much has been done to assist and correct it, because it was not intended for this universe to experience itself in this way. But just because it wasn't intended doesn't mean that there's not a higher purpose or learning involved in the process of rectifying the unintended action. And to know that these guides that we have, who have evolved, are still holding protection around our planet today. And that's it for information about the Pleiades today. Who knows, something may come later. I did want to add that beings from different universes who are here to uphold some level of balance in our universe is something that I have seen before in my own work astrally and in the unseen world. I've seen them returning back to their universe because they are no longer needed to hold the balance, which speaks to our own progress in returning back to that balance. I'm sure there are others here who have not left yet, but that a good number of them have gone back to their universe. At the time, I didn't understand why I needed to be aware of that. Now I sort of do. Now it makes sense for this process, but I always knew that it was in order to hold a level of balance and that it was needed because we were off balance and trying to return to that. So if you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, share it, comment. Love to hear what you think, and stay tuned for the next one because these are coming in parts, and then I'm sure they'll be all woven together into one full picture.